Barb cleared tier 24 Abattoir of Zir, while Druid is struggling with tier 13. Maxwell has an amazing leaderboard, and I'm here to show you the top scorers for every class. And for that, I had in between to log into this Chinese streaming website where you need to sign up with your phone number. And then instead of getting a company SMS, it's from a private number with your code. And I'm scared I made a mistake. Now let's begin at the bottom tier. Tier 13, Mr. Herbatronic with his Threat Druid, dashing left, right, poisoning the enemies, and still continuously struggling on the survival department. Like you can see his HP chunking down and him actually not effortlessly going through in comparison to the other classes. My Necro always having barrier, the Barbarian, Melted Heart of Selig, life leeching, whatevering around. The problem being for survival, he's relying on Adariel's Visage to essentially give him that 3% lifesteal. But lifesteal can only work as much as he's actually hitting and doing things. So if there is too much damage coming in, then the damage you're dealing might not necessarily be enough to lifesteal against what's happening. And that's not the only problem, because right now he's in the Bloodseeker fight, and well, the affixes, the elemental affixes are chunking quite heavily on him. Let's be fair, this is not an easy one. There is poison enchantment on the ground, there's the shadow enchantment, there's the fire explosion going on, and the ice enchantment is being put left, right, and center. So every time he's actually not doing damage, he's not applying his shred, he's not jumping to the opponent. That's where he's taking incredible amounts and almost dying, where he's burning like through his potions, where he has to even back up from the fight and struggle. There is an advantage though if only one is left. The healing, in comparison to the incoming damage, is way better suited to do the job. So as soon as you reach that stage, it's kind of easy going, because what's going to kill you more or less, because you got that heal going on, even though he almost gets chunked down there. So Druid is struggling extreme, link in the description below. Now to Rogue. Name is symbols of Asian language that I don't know which Asian language this actually is. I'm sorry. We have the build. We translated the website, so we can talk about this as well. The author is Hua, I guess. And we're seeing a spinning blade rogue who's essentially doing the simple thing of poison imbuement, spinning blades, and then damage reduction to the moon. Here, this build already has the glyph leveled up to 50. Yes. So for tier 17, glyph leveled up to 50 to actually do the tier 17. Now, just comparing this to the Barbs really quickly, there's one that did solo at tier 20 with a 21 glyph, 27, this level 16 glyph. So just simply in order to get to this position as a rogue, the glyph needed to be level 50 already. Just the amount of effort put in, and now that was for a tier 19 clear. So in order to get higher now, the dude has to put on like another 50 tiers probably to the glyph to the the amount of farm needed just to exceed. Really not worth the hassle. How's the Seeker fight going? Well, the Seeker fight is surprisingly straightforward without using the potion, being able to constantly be soaked up, take care of your opponents, and not really going down. This is looking quite fantastic. There was one potion needed. I mean, he's definitely not getting rocked, and he's rocking the opponents hard. So that one is, I mean, like, he's doing a fantastic job. Looks definitely better than the Druid, who was kind of like struggling, especially when it comes down to single target DPS. We don't fear. Sorry for the quality. We're trying to kind of get it out here. We had to log into the website to even get better quality. Not like Twitch, where you can watch high quality as much as possible, or YouTube, even logged out. No, we had to log in to get even better quality. He's just chunking them down. I guess he's probably going to be able to do it 20 as well. I mean, it does seem like from a survivability standpoint there, he does have a lot of time left. I mean, 2 minutes and 30 here still just for one opponent. This is going to kill it in the next 20 seconds. Amazing. Now, the build being used is a standard Shaco 20% damage reduction with more damage reduction from close, with T-Bolt's Wills, so you can get the resource back. And then we have the standard Poison Rogue just going about with spinning blades. You can open this website and then just translate it to English. So I'll be linking that in the description below as well. He does use 2 unique items as his weapons, and I think is this probably enemies increase your speed. Yeah, this is, I was not sure if one of them is Doombringer, because, you know, conviction and a shower scimitar, exactly, for real. Now for sorcerer, we actually have found tier 21, a man called Lightning. Makuna is the YouTube channel, and dude has a very highly sharpened settings to get this done. What I find very interesting is he's playing the injured version, and I'm really not a fan about damage reduction while injured. Dude has a consistent, continuous barrier going on. His like 90% damage reduction while injured on top of the standard damage reduction, and is able to, well, just stand injured in everyone while truly blasting out all the ball of lightning. The very interesting part is that he's actually not playing any kind of crazy uber uniques for this build. So just the things you can find with extreme high max roll gear on the damage from injured. And well, he's just standing in between these and not even trying to avoid anything, essentially relying on his build to just be as good as it is, going through the rotations, making sure that his flame shield is up and he doesn't get anything really one shot. And yeah, he's just in the middle there and doing the damage. I mean, 230 left, continuously standing, not moving a centimeter, glued to the opponents. I think trying to obviously pull them slightly together, because it's always better to just do damage to everyone instead of just going around, and then just spamming through his cooldowns as soon as they get available. That's it. Now looking here again though, this is tier 50 glyph upgraded to make it to 21, right? So 50. Where the guy above him called Sorcerer is playing Barbarian and cleared a tier 21 with a 24 glyph. Yikes. If I'm just thinking about the hours that the poor Sorc put in to get there, while the Barbarian was just... Now, don't worry, we didn't forget about Necro, but I think Barbarian first and then Necro last, because it's like so good how Necro, despite the limitations, is performing. Because Barbarian is overtuned, Lightning Sorc is bugged, overtuned as well, and therefore, like, they're supposed to be performing this way. Rogue is great as expected, but Necro is performing above what anyone would see possible. And for the Barb, we have Mr. Rob 24, who's now the leading Barb with a 908 clear on a 52 glyph. The dude behind him is a 61 glyph and was actually able to only clear slower. And what can we say about Barb? Spin to the win. And here the interesting part is that Rob actually swapped over to controller. Why? Because with controller, the spin, hit, spin, hit, spin, hit is faster to execute. Now you can also do this on mouse and keyboard, and it's about holding shift down where you then attack in place. And if you do the spin hit there, it is also possible to do, but on a controller, it's just natively easier, which sees damage values that I like, you know, there was just a random 1 billion there. But yeah, congratulations. I will never see these damage values as a Necro. It's just cute to see like how much damage is coming out there standard without doing anything. Yes, overtuned. Yes, will probably get nerfed for the next season. Then again, do we care? No, because the next seasonal leaderboards are going to be class specific. So do I mind if there's a fight between overtuned barbarians versus each other? No, because I will try to just be the best Necro in game, the best Necro for the weekly changing gauntlet dungeon. The rest, I don't care about. Now keep in mind though, for this fight, right, or for this build in general, he's using the Harlequin crest, he's having the Grandfather, and the Doombringer. So that's 3 uber unique items to perform up to these standards. I mean, alone the hours of farm to potentially get these. I don't know if anyone in the comments has all 3 items there. There is also the Melted Heart of Selig version, but that might be undying. It's doing less damage though. And as you notice, like, I mean, Rob is continuously doing billions and billions and billions of damage and barely being able to get this done, which also shows us that the Abattoir of Zir was designed for these broken classes. Because that's like, well, we might say that's a design flaw. Maybe the Abattoir of Zir should have scaled for the respective class, because we all know, like, even if I level up my glyph to level 200 as a Necro, my damage will still not be up to standards here. If I level my glyph up to level 50 now, instead of 20 million per tick damage over time, my Necro might be doing then 50 million damage over time. Yeah, you know? And his glyph is level 50. So even if I then level my glyph up to 200, I won't even be close to Barb, considering how much stronger Barb also is going to be in comparison. And yet, despite all the strength, despite all the damage output, there's still the moments where you take so much incredible damage and gotta spam your pod. And it's not merely down to just being overtuned. You actually also have to play good, right? You have to make sure to not stand in the area effects sometimes and use your potions at the right time. So don't forget that Abattoir of Zir is kind of like a skill check too. And here's what I talked about, right? Doombringer, Grandfather, Harlequin Crest, then the Banished Lord's Talisman, and a high roll Ring of Furore as well. Getting all of this together, good luck. Lastly, there's a tier 19 clear, but that is a 2-man clear, and for me personally that doesn't count, because if Necro has someone to stand in front of him, that's super easy. So I was looking for the best solo clear, and that is from Spider Minion with the glyph on level 35 and Infinity Mist, but a very interesting version. Now, where I am in the leaderboard, by the way, I'm at tier 14. My glyph is level 11 here, right? So we made it up all the way to 14 with an 11 glyph. And now if I wanted to do 17, as you've seen, right? 17 all the way up there from our brother Spider Minion. The amount of farm I have to put in, I'm not willing to simply put in to get my glyph to level 35. So he was barely able to beat it. Again, 946. He's a few seconds left. Build is super interesting though, because he's not playing Blight, he's not playing Rape, he is actually playing Iron Maiden. Because what he added to his build is a simple, I need more damage. And how do you get more damage? Well, if enemies are cursed by Iron Maiden and Decrepify, with the aspect of the Damned, you do 50% multiplicative bonus damage. Now, if we're thinking about a Black River version, oh, that's using Black River, right? To explode corpses, 130% multiplicative damage already on all your corpse explosions, together with Hell from Below maybe or whatsoever. And then you add another 50% multiplicative on whatever you do. The only nuisance with using this is that you're essentially forced to double skill all the time, to like double curse, to go like, yeah. And if you forget that, kind of like, he is able to, with a level 35 glyph, and that's what I said about damage output, right? Barely stay ahead of the curve. I mean, how much damage are we seeing here? Let's figure out when he's going for a bigger pack. We can see something in the millions. I mean, right now with this, he should be doing a standard like 20 million damage over time. But I think he's just pulling things together to find like a good pack of mobs that's worth it to like really spend your time on. Here, these for example, and this is where it's worth it. You kind of spend your time on this too, like getting all the elites together. Now he's going, and if we're looking at the damages here, oh, there's a 15 million with all that movement going on and all these numbers. So there was a 44 million, 51 million, 63 million, 75 million. So he does go really far out with the damage, right? This 50% bonus damage is nice. But again, we said it, right? If the glyph is level 50, he might do up to 100 million damage maybe with this build, 150 million. And the Barb was doing, what was it again? 2 billion? 2 billion? Even if you go up to 200 million, that's like a congratulations. That's quite useless. Now for the Seeker fight, we have to say though, Necro is just nice, right? You have all three together, and if you're lucky to have not a weird teleporter going on, he also does have a Blast Wife Shrine here. You're essentially going to be cursing them, Blood Mist, cursing them, Blood Mist, cursing them, right? That's your gameplay loop. He's also using the Limitless Wall to have multiple storms going on, which is not a Shadow Storm as it seems. It's actually a Bone Storm. I gotta see if he's actually playing Ultimate Shadows. I don't think he is. And then you just keep doing the do, right? And keep pulling them down. Without the Blast Wave Shrine though, from a timing perspective, he would have not been able to actually do this, because we're at 145, 144 left, and the fight is going on a wee bit longer, and he's actually swapping over his offhand because he notices he's able to do it from a life perspective, but he wasn't able to do it from a damage perspective. So he's trying to squeeze out a little bit more. And he's barely able to do it with a Blast Wave Shrine and the Glyph at level 35. GG on the achievement, but yeah, the Necro can do it barely though, barely. For the equipment, he does have a Harlequin Crest, which is crazy, right? And then we get all the damage reduction from close happening. He's even playing T-Bald's Will for the 40% multiplicative damage. And then we get the Black River into Limitless Wall combination, more damage while Barrier, followed up by Decrepifying Iron Maiden, still the Ring of Sacrilegious Souls, and then the Shadowblight Keep has a stacker. So no blood-soaked aspect for the desecrated ground sludge behind him. No, he says 50% multiplicative damage is more worth it then in this case using Blight for a 15% multiplier and Desecrated Ground for another 15% multiplier, which is 30% more, but he does have more free space than in the Paragon board to, for example, play Darkness, Exploit, Tears of Blood, Exhumation for the Corpse Explosion damage plus the bonus Fortify, and then lastly Scourge for also even more multiplicative damage, and at the end here Control. So he's trying to squeeze out as many glyphs as he possibly can while not taking many legendary nodes, while not taking many epic nodes, and then just squeezing out obviously as much Tears of Blood as humanly possible. Even leaving shadow damage over time nodes here just lying on the side to pull out another multiplicative damage, because control is multiplicative damage. Taking this is nice additive bonus damage, but if you can take another damage multiplier, that is in this case better. Ladies and gentlemen, how far have you gotten, or have you given up already? The damned board is definitely interesting, and I might want to min-max one final time to squeeze out the perfect Necromancer build to try out, could I somehow get something similar, better going. If you're now looking for the tier 14 clearing Super Corpse Explosion Necro, or a Blood Surge Necro that's even more fun, give it a go.